Trump troubled. His top campaign manager is fired, while a man is arrested for plotting to kill the GOP's presumptive nominee. Hundreds of firefighters battle western wildfires fed by triple-digit heat on a sizzling start to summer. What happened during the 3-hour standoff with the Orlando gunman?
Our officers were intermittently in and out of that club, rescuing people from inside the club.
And Broadway helps a wounded nation heal. This is the CBS Evening News with Scott Pelley. This is our Western edition. 4 weeks before the Republican convention, the Trump campaign is in crisis. The presumptive presidential nominee fired his campaign manager today as his poll numbers fell. He's at war with the party establishment, and there is talk of delegates rebelling. Here's Chip Reed.
Corey Lewandowski has been by Donald Trump's side since the beginning of the presidential campaign.
Corey, good job, Corey.
But his combative relations with other Trump aides, Republican officials, and the press led to frequent calls for him to be fired. Trump refused.
I don't discard people. I stay with people.
He even stayed with him after Lewandowski was charged with misdemeanor battery for roughly grabbing a reporter by the arm. The charge was later dropped.
I don't want to ruin a man's life over a tape that looks like practically nothing happened.
But with Trump trailing Hillary Clinton in the polls and in fundraising, growing numbers of Republicans have called for Lewandowski's head, including Trump's children, who have prominent roles in the campaign. Today, in a brief statement, a Trump spokeswoman said Lewandowski, quote, will no longer be working with the campaign. Even so, Lewandowski continued to praise Donald Trump.
I know I've had a great privilege and an honor of being part of this for the last 18 or 19 months. And I have no regrets.
The shakeup comes amid a series of controversies, mostly of Trump's own making. The latest followed the Orlando massacre, when instead of focusing on the victims, Trump tweeted, "Appreciate the congrats for being right on radical Islamic terrorism." He also said he wished some of the clubgoers had been armed and fired back.
Right smack between the eyes of this maniac.
Even the NRA said combining guns and drinking is going too far. Lewandowski's departure leaves Paul Manafort, Trump's chief strategist, in charge. The mission now is to turn Trump into a more disciplined candidate, a big change from Lewandowski's philosophy of let Trump be Trump.
Everybody. Thank you.
In the middle of all this chaos and confusion, an advisor to the Trump campaign for the upcoming convention sent out a tweet about Lewandowski. It read, "Ding dong, the witch is dead." He even included a helpful link to the song from The Wizard of Oz. Scott, a short time later, that advisor resigned.
Chip Reed for us tonight. Chip, thank you. A man has been arrested in Las Vegas for allegedly attempting to assassinate Donald Trump. Our justice correspondent, Jeff Pegues, has the details.
Love you people. I love Las Vegas.
Investigators say the attempt occurred last Saturday as the candidate was holding this rally in Las Vegas at the Treasure Island Casino. A federal law enforcement official tells CBS News that this man, Michael Stephen Sanford, was taken into custody after attempting to grab an officer's gun. According to court documents, Sanford, who is a British citizen, got up from his seat and attempted to take an officer's weapon by grabbing the holster and handle with both hands. Sanford admitted to trying to shoot and kill Trump, acknowledging that he would likely only be able to fire 1 to 2 rounds before he himself would be killed by police. Sanford has been in the U.S. for the last year and a half. Last Thursday, investigators say he drove from Southern California to Las Vegas. On June 17th, he went to Battlefield Vegas gun range, where authorities say he fired 20 rounds from a 9mm Glock pistol. Investigators say he had been planning the assassination attempt for about a year. According to court documents, he put his plan in motion because he said he finally felt confident about trying it. Trump has had Secret Service protection for the last 8 months. In March, a demonstrator was arrested during a rally in Dayton, Ohio, after he tried to rush the candidate on stage. Scott, according to court records, Sanford has not yet been assigned an attorney.
Jeff Pegues, thanks. Well, summer began today with a blast of triple-digit heat in the southwest. The hills are on fire this evening in Los Angeles County. Firefighters are attacking the flames from the air and the ground. 16 large fires are burning in the west. Nearly 100,000 acres have been scorched. Some California towns haven't felt temperatures like this in decades. 123 in Death Valley, 122 in Palm Springs, 121 in Needles. We have two reports. First, John Blackstone in Southern California.
This afternoon, two separate wildfires ignited and merged into one massive inferno in the San Gabriel Mountains, about 30 miles north of downtown Los Angeles.
There's a lot of homes here, and they're really close to this fire.
Thick plumes of smoke hovered over densely populated neighborhoods as tankers rushed to snuff out the flames. A pilot captured this video while battling the fire from the air. Near San Diego, new evacuations were ordered as a fire burning near the Mexican border grew to 1,900 acres. The fire broke out Sunday. It's forced about 800 people from their homes near the community of Potrero. A house fire in the Los Angeles neighborhood of Silver Lake jumped into vegetation, then burned across two busy freeways that had to be closed on Sunday. Firefighters tried to avoid succumbing to almost 100-degree heat. In Santa Barbara County, the ferocious Sherpa fire that started last week has devoured nearly 8,000 acres. But so-called sundowner winds, known for pushing fires down these hillsides, still pose a threat. CAL FIRE Unit Chief Scott Gelbert has been directing the battle there.
This is not done yet. Tonight they can surface, hit the fire and push the fire, and we'll be back to square one.
Even here, where the Sherpa fire seems to have left nothing but ashes, this ground remains hot. Those expected sundowner winds could pick up sparks, creating new problems for firefighters already working in this record-setting heat.
I'm Omar Villafranca in Phoenix, where temperatures topped out at 114. Here in Arizona, the excessive heat has already killed 4 hikers on 3 different mountain trails. Emergency workers have asked people to avoid any unnecessary outdoor activity. In Palm Desert, California, where the mercury hit 121, crews had to rescue a hiker wilting in the sun. The heat wave is expected to continue until later this week. The temperature is affecting flights. Yesterday, a United regional jet from Houston to Phoenix turned back as a precaution because of the excessive heat. The hot air is thin, and that can affect lift during takeoff and landing. Scott?
Omar Villafranca, thanks. Well, today we learned what the gunman said to the Orlando 911 center after he set in motion the worst mass shooting in U.S. history. Omar Mateen, who killed 49 people, pledged himself to the leader of ISIS in his call and in several calls that a police negotiator made to his cell phone. Here's David Begnaud.
Oh my God, people are getting shot, dude.
Chilling, calm, and deliberate is how the FBI described Omar Mateen when he called 911 during the rampage. The FBI released the transcript of a 50-second 911 call Mateen made from inside the club nearly 30 minutes after he opened fire. Mateen said in Arabic, "In the name of God, the merciful, the beneficent." Operator, what? "Praise be to God," Mateen goes on. "What's your name?" "My name is, I pledge of allegiance to Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi of the Islamic State." Shortly after that 911 call, the FBI says crisis negotiators talked with Mateen 3 different times between 2:48 a.m. and 3:24. In that time, Mateen called himself an Islamic soldier and told negotiators to stop bombing Syria and Iraq, saying that's why he was out here right now. Among the lingering questions for Orlando Police Chief John Mina is whether police inadvertently shot any bystanders.
How likely is it that some of the victims may have been shot and killed by police gunfire in the initial attempt to save lives?
That's all part of the investigation, but here's what I will tell you. Those killings are on the suspect, and on the suspect alone, in my mind.
Mina also tried to clear up misconceptions that officials did nothing during the nearly 3-hour standoff between the initial police engagement and when Mateen was killed.
During that time, our officers were intermittently in and out of that club, saving people, rescuing people from inside the club.
At 4:21 a.m., Orlando police pulled an air conditioner out of a window, allowing them to rescue 8 hostages. At 4:29, some of those rescued told police the shooter was going to put suicide vests on the remaining victims. At 5:02, the SWAT team breached a wall with an explosive. At 5:14, shots were exchanged with the gunman. 5:15, Mateen was down. No explosives were ever found. The shooter's body was released today to his family. Scott, the medical examiner had kept the shooter in a separate facility away from the victims. He told us there was no special reason for that, other than it just seemed like the right thing to do.
David Begnaud reporting for us tonight. David, thank you. By the way, that 911 transcript was released this morning in a censored form, deleting Mateen's references to ISIS. But after heavy criticism for censoring a public document, the Justice Department released the complete version. In the wake of Orlando, the U.S. Senate and the Republicans there have agreed to a series of votes tonight on gun legislation. Our congressional correspondent Nancy Cordes is at the Capitol. Nancy?
Scott, 4 measures were put to a vote tonight, and all 4 of them failed, even though everyone, including the NRA, appears to agree that suspected terrorists should not have access to guns. The problem is that Democrats and Republicans have 2 different solutions to the problem, and their half-hearted attempts at compromise have simply gone nowhere. Democrats have a measure that would block anyone who is on a terrorist watch list from flat out being able to buy a gun. But Republicans say that innocent Americans could end up on those lists by accident, and so their proposal would delay a sale for 72 hours while prosecutors work to convince a judge to block the sale permanently. Democrats say that's too cumbersome. And so what's remarkable, Scott, is how unremarkable tonight's debate has been. The Senate is simply going through the same motions it always does after a mass shooting recently, which is to vote on a series of similar proposals that end up going nowhere.
Nancy Cordes on Capitol Hill. Nancy, thank you. A ban on assault weapons in Connecticut and New York will remain in place. Today, the U.S. Supreme Court rejected arguments that those bans violate the Second Amendment. They were passed after the 2012 massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. Parents of some of the children who died were in court today trying a new approach to holding the maker of the gun liable. Congress has shielded gun makers from lawsuits except when a gun is sold negligently to someone who is a high risk. The parents argue that the AR-15 assault rifle is so inherently dangerous that selling it to anyone is negligent. Michelle Miller is in Bridgeport.
The AR-15 is the most dangerous, most lethal.
Joshua Koskoff represents 10 Newtown families suing Remington, the manufacturer of the AR-15 used to kill 20 children and 6 adults 3.5 years ago.
The AR-15 worked exactly as it was designed to do.
The families claim Remington and its distributor were negligent in allowing the gun to get into the hands of a mentally ill gunman. Defense lawyer Peter Berry says that's not true.
Nancy Lanza never visited the Sandy Hook Elementary School with a firearm. It was her son who did.
It's the latest challenge to the 2005 federal law that shields the gun industry from most lawsuits over the criminal use of firearms. But the Newtown family say the way the military-style weapon is marketed is the problem. They point to advertisements that use phrases like, "Consider your man card reissued." Mark and Jackie Barton lost their 7-year-old Daniel at Sandy Hook.
They're not advertising these weapons for hunting. They're not advertising these weapons for protection.
1 week after another gunman used a similar high-capacity military-style rifle to kill 49 people in an Orlando club, Georgetown law professor Heidi Feldman says the stakes are even higher.
The gun industry is, I believe, terribly afraid of being the next cigarette manufacturer.
This is what we need to do to make sure this stops. You know, Daniel deserved to live a full life.
This is the first lawsuit of its kind to get this far through the legal system in what is sure to continue to be an uphill battle. Scott, the judge, has until October to decide whether this case does indeed go to trial.
Michelle Miller for us. Michelle, thank you. And coming up next, a Star Trek actor is killed by an SUV that was recalled. Anton Yelchin, who appeared in the most recent Star Trek movies, was killed yesterday when his SUV rolled into him in his Los Angeles driveway. The SUV was part of a recall because the gear shift can be confusing. Chris Van Cleve has this.
Los Angeles police say actor Anton Yelchin's 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee was still running when it rolled back, pinning the 27-year-old against a fence outside his home. LAPD investigators believe the Star Trek star may not have properly put the SUV into park. Yelchin's Grand Cherokee is among 1.1 million vehicles worldwide recalled in April for a defect with its electronic shifter that could result in rollaway incidents. Drivers were notified in May about the recall. The company accelerated its plans for repairs, but internal documents show the fix wasn't expected to be available until at least July. We first reported on the issue in March. Since then, the number of complaints about difficulty shifting into park has grown to approximately 700, including 212 accidents and at least 41 injuries. Automaker documents blame potential driver error for the incidents.
I got out of the Jeep, I thought it was in park, and it was in reverse still.
Gary Titus narrowly avoided injury when his 2014 Grand Cherokee, now recalled, rolled away.
And as I walked back towards the garage, I noticed the car was moving a little bit, so I got between the car and the garage, and I was able to yell for my son and stop the car at the same time.
Anton Yelchin most likely would be alive today.
Clarence Ditlow from the Center for Auto Safety.
Both the government and Chrysler let consumers down. Chrysler because they made the defect and they didn't move to fix it fast enough, and the government because they didn't act as a tough cop on the beat.
In a statement, Fiat Chrysler expressed its condolences and says it is investigating. Scott, the automaker, cautions it is premature to speculate on the cause of this tragedy.
Chris Van Cleve, thanks very much. Up next, LeBron James brings Cleveland a championship. When LeBron James returned to Cleveland from Miami, he promised a championship, and he delivered.
There is
Today, James and the Cavs returned to a raucous celebration after beating Golden State last night. It's Cleveland's first championship in a major sport in 52 years. We're back after this timeout. Broadway responded today to the tragedy in Orlando by belting out the most powerful four-letter word on earth. Here's Dr. John LaPook.
Oh, I like that then.
For Broadway producer James Wesley and his husband, musician Seth Rudetsky, it was a no-brainer.
What the world needs now.
Dionne Warwick's hit song of the 1960s recast as a rallying cry against the terror of the Orlando massacre.
There's just too little love.
In just 2 days, Wesley and Rudetsky corralled 60 of Broadway's biggest stars.
My altos were, Carole King, Audra McDonald.
Just for some, but for everyone.
Crammed into a small New York studio, many recorded their parts before heading back to their own shows.
There are cornfields and wheat fields.
Did somebody not get a solo who wanted a solo?
I guess we'll find out when the lawsuit happens.
All the proceeds will go to help the nightclub victims and the LGBT community in Orlando.
What the world needs now.
How does something like this help with healing?
You feel very alone when you're growing up gay. And if this young gay kid can hear this song and go, oh my God, these major stars, these beautiful artists are saying it's okay to be me, they can grow up with a sense of love and hope.
No, not just for some, but for everyone.
Now people will be able to listen to the song feel connected, feel a sense of hope, feel maybe a little tinge of optimism that they haven't had in a while.
We want to put out as much love into the world as we can.
Love must prevail.
Love must prevail.
El amor tiene que prevalecer. You got love on this side, you have fear on this side.
Well, love wins. I mean, it always does. I mean, that's the thing, it always does.
Out of the horror, a call for harmony to overcome hate. Dr. John LaPook, CBS News, New York.
And that's the CBS Evening News for tonight. For all of us at CBS News, all around the world, good night.